I've always loved international film, and I think it's one of the joys of being an actor or a filmmaker that you get to cross into other people's cultures and lands and learn about them and make friends, and it's one of the best things about my job.
For the past decade, Angelina Jolie has been one of the most watched women on Earth, and also one of the most alone. Every rumor got investigated, every dinner with a male co-star became a headline. The world kept waiting for the moment she would move on from Brad Pitt, and it kept not happening. Now, nearly 10 years after she filed for divorce, Jolie has finally broken her silence on why. This week, she gave the most candid interview about her love life she has ever given, and what she said explains everything the tabloids spent years getting wrong. Let's start with where things actually stand, in her own words, from an interview published this week by Yahoo Entertainment to coincide with her new film Couture opening in North American theaters. To be candid, Jolie told the outlet, "I haven't dated or been with anyone since I divorced a decade ago." She then explained why in a way that most people who have followed her story will recognize immediately. She said she kind of gets in her head that that aspect of her is not centered in her life when she is focusing on her children and her family. One sentence, no drama, no bitter edge, just a woman who made a choice and is living inside it. That interview dropped just days ago. It is the first time Jolie has addressed her dating life directly in years, and the candor of it is striking. This is not a woman who typically opens the door to personal questions. She told GQ in May 2025, after the divorce was finally finalized, that she didn't even think of the settlement as that major of a thing. Just something coming to fruition, she said. Legally. The woman who spent 8 years in one of the most contentious celebrity divorces in Hollywood history described it to a major magazine as a legal formality. That level of control over the public narrative is either extraordinary discipline or genuine detachment. Probably both. To understand why she is where she is now, you have to understand where she has been. Jolie filed for divorce from Brad Pitt on September 19, 2016, citing irreconcilable differences. The filing came days after an incident on a private jet traveling from France to the United States. In 2022, a heavily redacted FBI report confirmed that Jolie had accused Pitt of physically assaulting her and verbally abusing their children during that flight. Pitt was never arrested or charged. The FBI closed its investigation. But the accusations, once they became public, reframed the entire 8-year legal battle that followed. What followed the 2016 filing was not a clean break. It was a sprawling, grinding legal war fought on multiple fronts simultaneously. There was the custody dispute over their 6 children, Maddox, Pax, Zahara, Shiloh, and twins Knox and Vivian. There was the battle over Chateau Miraval, the French winery where they had married in 2014, which Pitt claimed Jolie had promised to sell to him and instead sold to a Stoli Group subsidiary in what Pitt called a vindictive act designed to destroy a private space that had been sacred to him. There were counterfilings, accusations of misconduct, and a custody trial that dragged on for years while 5 of their 6 children aged into adulthood, eventually making the custody arrangement largely moot before it was ever formally resolved. On December 30, 2024, a settlement was finally filed with the Los Angeles Superior Court. The terms were confidential. Her attorney James Simon issued a statement to CNN that read, in part, "Angelina is exhausted, but she is relieved this one part is over." One part. 8 years of litigation described as one part of a longer process. The exhaustion in that statement is real. By the time the divorce was finalized, Maddox was 23. 4 of the 6 children had become adults during the legal battle alone, and several of them had made their positions publicly clear. Shiloh successfully petitioned a court to remove Pitt's name from hers. Zahara began going by Zahara Marley Jolie. These were not small gestures. These were deliberate, public choices made by young adults who had lived through whatever happened in that family. Now, with the legal chapter closed, what does Jolie's life actually look like? The answer is not what the tabloids have been printing. A source told People in March 2026 that Jolie had been extremely busy and focused for the past few years, and that dating simply hadn't been important to her. She hasn't had a boyfriend, the source said plainly. She's pretty much been a single mom since the divorce, and that's where most of her focus has been. Those words line up exactly with what Jolie herself just said publicly this week. If you are finding this story as compelling as we do, this is a great time to subscribe. We follow the real stories behind the biggest names in Hollywood, and there is a lot more of this one still to tell. What she has been doing instead of dating is work, and the scale of what she has taken on is easy to underestimate. In the 8 years since the divorce filing, Jolie starred in 7 films, far fewer than the 3 to 5 per year she was releasing in the 1990s and early 2000s, but she has spoken openly about why. She told the Wall Street Journal she stepped back because she and her children needed to heal. "We had to heal," she said. "There are things we needed to heal from." The deliberately vague language is classic Jolie, protecting her children from the specifics while still telling the truth. She also returned to acting in ways shaped entirely by what her family needed in the moment. She told an interviewer that she had intended to shift heavily toward directing and humanitarian work, but changed course when she realized that acting allowed her to be home more, take shorter projects, and keep her children nearby. Practicality, not ego, drove the decision. Her son Maddox and son Pax both worked as production assistants on Maria. Her daughter Vivian co-produced the Broadway adaptation of The Outsiders with her in 2024, listed in the playbill simply as Vivian Jolie. Jolie told People that Vivian had been a very tough assistant who took the work extremely seriously and would correct her mother when she needed to. The Maria film itself was something of a personal statement. Playing opera singer Maria Callas, a woman who gave everything to her art and paid for it with her health and her personal life, Jolie told Time France it was a very personal story for her. Callas famously suffered in private while maintaining a public image of total composure. The parallel is not subtle. Then there is the Louis Garrel situation, which was the tabloid story of early 2026, and which collapsed almost as fast as it was built. Garrel is her co-star in Couture, the French drama now in theaters. The two were photographed at dinner together. They appeared at the film's Paris premiere in February 2026. Speculation about a romance ran for weeks across entertainment media. Then TMZ reported that sources close to the situation confirmed there was no romance. They were friends, they had friends in common, and their relationship was professional and personal in the way that co-stars who respect each other's work sometimes are. Garrel's close friend and fellow actress Alexandra Kay went further, saying she was heartbroken watching people pile onto someone who had nothing to do with Jolie's personal life. The story died. What is genuinely interesting about the Garrel rumor is not that it was wrong. It is that it happened at all, and that people were so ready to believe it. A decade of Angelina Jolie not dating has apparently made the public so hungry for a narrative that a dinner between co-stars became a romance arc within 48 hours. That hunger says something about how much people have projected onto her story and how little of that projection has ever matched who she actually is. She told Variety in a recent interview that her fighting spirit is finally back. She said she lost it for a bit, got kind of taken down a little bit, and that it came back largely because of her children, who are older now and encouraging her to take risks again. Her kids are almost all 18, she told The Hollywood Reporter, so they want to see her traveling the world, getting out, doing things. The twins, Knox and Vivian, reach 18 in July 2026. Once they do, Jolie has said she will finally feel free to leave Los Angeles, a city she has described as a place she stayed because the divorce required it. She has been a prisoner of the legal process in a city that was never really hers. So, is she dating? No, not now. Not that she's telling anyone. But she is, by every account from herself and those around her, more herself than she has been in years. Her fighting spirit is back. Her children are growing into adults she clearly admires. She is making films that feel personal. And she just sat down and said, for the first time out loud, that she has not been with anyone in 10 years. That is not a sad story. That is a woman who made a decision, kept it, and is only just now willing to talk about it on her own terms. That is where Angelina Jolie actually stands right now, in her own words, this week. If you want more real stories like this one, the next video is already waiting for you. Go watch it. We will see you there.